Hi. How are you? Hello, people. I just thought I'd quickly say hi. See how everybody's doing. It's an interesting phase. Well, maybe not a phase, I don't know, and see if anyone else is going through it. But you go through like different phases in your ascension thing. Hi. Hi, you Ellie. And then you start getting tests popping up. And I've noticed them now. If you kind of, and you kind of, funny enough, you be kind of aware of them because things will pop up to see how you'll react. Like in the old version of you, the old earth, the old three-dimensional version of you would be like from a lower consciousness, not a good reaction. And I noticed it and I was like, oh wow. The first time it happened, I thought, oh wow, and I was quite proud of myself. I thought, wow, if that a long time ago I would have not done, I would have reacted very differently and behaved very differently. And I was so proud of how I behaved. And then another thing popped up and I'm like, oh wow. So like I'm getting, this is like a third one I've had of these now, where in an old situation you might have freaked out or got upset or stressed or whatever. You just would have reacted differently. So I'm thinking this is interesting. So yes, I don't know if anyone else is going to that, but they're quite obvious. It's like something they would have like you wouldn't have done well with, or you can clearly see how you respond now to how you would have responded the old version of you, and it was like so different, so different. So yeah, I'm finding it's interesting, and I'm babysitting at the moment. I oh yeah, long story. Did it? Okay, yes, I know. And this is like a test, and it's quite obvious. And I've heard other people mention it. I'm thinking, oh right, so it's a test for us to see if we're ready. The new version of us, if we will revert back to old patterns, old ways of being. It's a kind of a test to see. Okay, are you going to embody the manifestation? You create your reality version, or are you going to revert back to the world's doing it to me version? I think. I don't know. I clearly was aware of my reactions afterwards. They were so different. What happened to you on Saturday then, Ellie? Share, share, share. I've had a few interesting ones. Let me just check on this little thing and see if he's doing all right. Is it warm in there? Are you all right? Let's check. Yeah, nice and warm in there. Are we? Okay, we're just going to check out on you. Make sure you're all right. Sorry, I'm babysitting here. A teeny weeny little bird. Something didn't seem there was a bit off. Something was not happy there. So it got sort of, you could see it wasn't going to survive in the wild. I think it's so I took him home. I'm now playing mommy. Anyway, sorry. So I'm just keeping an eye on him. He's on it. He's yeah. Anyway, got a little bed going here and everything. So tell me what happened. A family member. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. It's something that normally would trigger you, and you're going to see. Yeah, yeah, yes, yeah. But how you react is so interesting to see that if you react completely differently, that is interesting. With love and compassion, that's very interesting. How you respond when it doesn't rock you. Yeah. I mean, I had a couple of little things. I just noticed them. So the one day, I don't know when it was, a week or two ago. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've shared the story. I went down for a walk on this. It's kind of a river, but a very very quiet, like sort of stream. But it runs also past a cricket ground. Anyway, I didn't really know this. I hadn't really been around there much, so I decided to go in for a little. It's a really lovely little spot. It's very quiet. There's a little bench you can sit there, and you can watch the fish. If you're very quiet, no one's there. The fish sometimes jump out the water, and I've seen a minx there, and there's little crawfish, whatever they're called. So it's a really quiet little spot, and there's very seldom anybody there. And I just felt like a quiet spot, and I thought I'll go sit. I can't remember why. I just wanted to go sit on the bench and just watch the water. It's beautiful. Just watch the water, and you can see it's crystal. It's very shallow, very clear and calm, and you can sit there peacefully and you can watch fish. If you sit quietly, you can watch the fish, and I love watching fish, right? So this time I go down there and there's some children on this cricket ground, sort of preschool age, maybe just before they finish primary school and head to high school, the last senior school, whatever you want to call it. And anyway, these children were sitting in the cricket ground right against the fence. And this bench where I happened to go sit was basically directly opposite them. So they saw me, there were about 3 or 4 of them. And anyway, looked at me and the one kid, and they took their rubbish, their plastic, and threw it straight over the fence, by this road. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And you just think, geez, don't people bring up their kids properly? It's normally, children are like, it's not parents, it doesn't always be the parents. So you like seeing this kid throwing their, just polluting. I'm thinking, oh, and here you are enjoying the beauty and nature, and, and this is a big contrast, right? So I'm seeing this, and I stared, and they looked at me directly, and I stared directly at me, and I just stared at them, and then of course your mind is now the old you would have said, oh, you want to lecture them or tell them, or just this is us telling people what to do and control and bully, and I didn't, and I just looked at them, and then all this is going through your mind, and you're thinking, oh, family, what kind of family do these children come from? That they do this, that people don't teach, who knows, this is just you. Because it's different to you, you see. So you automatically now judging, you see. So this is all going to your mind, whatever. And then I'm thinking shame. And then I know the children in this area. I mean, England is not a nice place to bring up children. Ooh, goodness me. So, they don't have gardens, half these children. They live in little matchsticks. They've got no gardens. I mean, it's horrendous. And then the people say, oh, look at the children. They're all on drugs and alcohol. Why? There is nothing for children to do here. I mean, absolutely no entertainment, unless it's got a pub related around alcohol. There is nothing. And I've been to many countries. There's no malls where there's things, except for London, a very few, where they can go and they can do. There is nothing, literally. They have to hang out in parks. I mean, it's horrendous. I was horrified coming up here in the north, thinking it's horrendous. So unless your family have got money, you've got a decent-sized garden. Otherwise, that's it. They all live in these little boxes and there's just no garden, nothing to do. So, this goes through. And I realize, and I hear these adults criticizing his children. I'm thinking, just you try and be a kid. Where do you think these kids are supposed to go and socialize and hang out and play or do anything? There's nothing. You've not encouraged them. There's no skate parks and surfing parks and anything like that where they can do something constructive. So you've just left them to their own devices to drink and smoke, and that's it, and hang outside, or they're going to go somewhere where there's no parents. They can't, as teenagers, get away where they can be together. I mean, it's horrendous. So, of course, I'm looking at this, and then I started feeling compassion for them. And you're thinking, you realize they're not in that level of consciousness. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, really, I felt sorry for them. I'm thinking, oh, I would hate to be a child growing up here. I mean, I have such sympathy for the children in the UK, honestly. I mean, the UN took this government to task about the children story in this country. Of course, it was denied, but yeah, it's horrendous. I mean, wow. Just because you understand their homes, they've got nowhere. These houses are very small and compact in the UK. Little boxes, basically, in my opinion, all like matchsticks. So it's like semi-detached, or they call them terraced houses. So there is nothing. They've got no privacy. When you're kids and teenagers, you want to socialize and go out with friends and talk and have parties in the garden. You can't. Because if you've got your parents here, you can't have your kids over. So they basically leave school, go home, and they spend time. This is terrible. They spend time by themselves playing PlayStation. All the children here. It's all they do. And if they get out together, then it's normally trouble. So what do? They hang out in parks. So this is what these children were doing. A few boys on their bikes, and just chucking their rubbish over, So if you understand where they're coming from in that cycle where they're brought up, and then you look at the intellect I understood. I actually had, funny enough, as the mind went through, in the end it was actually compassion and sympathy for them. But your first reaction would be, pick that up, don't litter, and blah, 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 blah. No, it was compassion and sympathy, And also just knowing that we're going in the right direction, that consciousness is raising, and this connection with Earth, Shame. So yeah, they will start appreciating nature more. It's very difficult for teenagers growing up here. Wow, I cannot believe that no one's invested in building, centers for them. Like we have surfing indoor, like surfing parks and skating things, and all kinds. There's so much. You get those ones where they can pretend they're flying. That big, like it's like a jet almost, so you can fly or float. There's so much, and in so many countries. But in England, it's horrendous. They just do nothing for children. There's nothing for the youth here. Ooh, that's really, really. So anyway, that was my one of the things I experienced, and I just thought, oh my gosh, my children were very privileged actually. When I look back and think, okay, they might have me around. I was busy paying bills, but they had very good schools, and they had the privilege of having gardens and having pools and all these things and barbecues. For them, this was an alien thing. This is like, what the heck? These poor children. They're like just wow. So there isn't that dependency on alcohol and drugs because they don't have that lifestyle. Whereas here they are bored out of their mind, and it's either PlayStations or it's it's just get together and sneak into a pub or whatever, and some of these club things, whatever they do, parties. That's it. It's very different when you've traveled a lot in so many countries and so many places, and you can compare the lifestyle and how people live and the children, the social life, and you just think, wow, England's got a real bad problem. Real problem. There's just no regard for family or children. There's just like, I don't know. I'm just amazed. For me, it was just a very strange setup here. And I was just so glad my children didn't had a, compared to here, were very advantaged, very, very advantaged. So there we are. That was one of mine. I've had many interesting ones, and I'm like, ooh, interesting. When they come up, I noticed that I behaved completely different to what I would have done, like, a while back. So then you're proud of yourself. You realize how far your consciousness. You realize how much you've changed and how much you've evolved. And that's what I love. I am so thankful for this evolution. And you're like, wow, you're so proud of yourself, and you realize how far you've come. And you can see you change every year. And there's a big difference. Give it a few years and you're like, wow, you've really changed. So I'm so chuffed with who I be and who you're becoming. You're like, wow. Yeah, you change so much for the better. Your decisions, but also if you seek that, you ask for the highest perspective and highest perception, you ask for the highest level of consciousness, and you seek to, better, be a better person, be a better thing. So yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Well, I can tell you what I'm doing. I don't know about everyone else, but I presume everyone's going through the same thing. Whether they're trying, I don't know. I mean, I'm just guessing. Some people might not, yeah. I know. You know what? I mean, you would just wish these people would invest in this thing. You think, what is wrong with these people? Like, you take a big old warehouse, like a big warehouse property, and you can make that into, like, a putt-putt. Water sports. Kids love water sport, indoor water sport, or, you know what I mean? Like wave things. They like to race. They can skateboard things, wave things, or whatever, all kinds of stuff like that. There's so much. I've seen, so many amazing. Dubai is great for that sort of thing. And you just think, what is wrong here? And then all they do is moan about the kids, because all these kids sit and drink or take drugs in the park, in non-public parks. That's it. They try and gather in this little like sitting place or something, or they vandalize. And people, I remember people going on up. I remember some park banned the kids, or they actually ripped the benches out so the kids wouldn't sit there because they were smoking pot and carrying on. And I listening to these people moaning, and I said, okay, tell me something. What alternative do these children have? Where can they go and meet up? Where can they go and socialize? And then you complain there's an alcohol abusive problem in the country. Where do these children go and socialize? There's clubs and there's pubs. That is it, or church. And they were like, yeah, because no one thinks about that. They're quickly to blame the children and this and that, but it's got nothing to do with the children. The environment, it's like watering a plant. What environment have you offered these children? Anyway, the UN did slam the UK, but they basically just said, oh, nonsense, deny the whole thing. I'm like, no, it's quite obvious. There's so many advantages, but there's also a lot of disadvantages. And the children, I think, really the saddest thing, yeah. And then this is our youth, though. These are our leaders. You've got to look after them, the children. Wow. Yeah, yes, exactly, in California. But I mean, look, you've got those other ones. I mean, it looks like it's a massive fan, which people they can pretend they're flying and floating. I mean, you can build like a big warehouse thing. You can put so much in there that the children can do. There's water skate, like surf park things, water waves, like a small thing. There's plenty stuff, Anyway, and kids would actually save up. Half these kids work and would go and use it. Or places where they can get together, like a meditation center or like something like that, little garden where they can go and chill. Give them something. Build something like that. There's like a meditation thing where they can check out this, so they can compare their brain maybe before and afterwards, and maybe a little place where they can sit. But encourage them healthy habits, healthy environment, healthier changes. That I would love to see here, big time. Yeah. But that's outside. In winter we're talking about here. There's a summer short. What the hell do these children do? Where do they go? Some of them hang out in the parks. And in winter, I don't know. I really feel sorry for them, yeah. It's yeah. Not a good thing anyway. So there we are. I'm noticing this. I'm noticing these, yeah. And then you don't, it doesn't matter what people are. You understand that they're just on a lower level of consciousness, so they don't know any better. And you actually have sympathy because they're suffering a lot of it. Yeah? So, yeah, you see, you're looking at people differently. And the four people were like judging people. I mean, they were being really nasty and calling people sheep. We don't know someone. You don't know what someone's cash is. You don't know what they've suffered and what paranoias and fears. Everybody's got patterns. Your past lives. You've all got traits and patterns and hooks or attachments. You don't know what theirs are. So we're quick to judge someone's behavior, but we don't know what what they've had to overcome, or what soul traits or paranoias they've had to go through and suffer in many lives or something. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other stories? Are you also going through any of these? Have you noticed any of these to see if because you've gone through all that now? It's like testing your beliefs, because now you're starting the manifestation. You're claiming your power as a creative being, as a focus, all that sort of thing. And then it's like putting the thing to the test, because the words, and then you can do the words of meditation and all that kind of thing. I don't know. So see, I'm seeing what's going on, and also comparing frequencies. What I've noticed as well is that when I did this, like the Buddhas were doing, when I first woke up, this was the thing, was to quieten the mind. And when you try and tap in, if you're trying to like psychically tap into someone's higher self or speak to spirit or merit view, you're getting to that thing where you're focusing. It's like the same pure focus in the astral, right? So your mind is not here, what you want to call in the astral. So when I first woke up, I was doing this big time. Silence that mind. I learned to, and all I was doing was tapping in, so you were consciously staying in the present moment all the time, like they did. I mastered that for a while, and I was doing that all the time. I got into the mastery of that anyway. I mean, I fell out of it. I had temporary, a lot of things happened. That was me out of it for a bit. But that was when my energy was my frequency and vibration and light was at its highest. And then I've done this one, I've tried this one as well. And so you still do your meditations, but still if you're keeping the mind busy, like listening to things and whatever it is, even if it's positive stuff, mix and affirmations, but the mind is constantly, or the ego, constantly being fed. Because that's the only one that seeks anything, because your real self doesn't need anything. It's just happy. It doesn't seek any information or any, whatever. So we're feeding the ego, we're feeding the mind. So the mind is still busy, So then you've got to work really hard to be conscious of your thoughts. Because if you get lazy or drop in frequency, then you drop in band, which you're picking up more negative thoughts in, because everything's in frequencies, they have levels. So as you drop your frequency, more negative thoughts and things can come into your experience. You'll start, it's interesting, you start noticing all these things. But if you do stay in the moment and just, if you got the mind just to shut up and you just be, your frequency and vibration is so much faster. Yeah. It's so much higher, much higher. So it still is the best to just to be. But when you're trying to do this and you're doing affirmations and you're trying to say manifest, and because now you are trying to create and control again, so you're trying to manifest and deliberately do affirmations and doing things, is the same thing. You, the ego, is trying to control the situation. And then you're listening to stuff as well. You're feeding the mind again. All you're doing is feeding the ego. So it gets busy again. So I noticed, yes, you can get in a real good high. You go, I mean, when you do affirmations, you can get in such a, when you finish them, wow, you're on a zzz. But you don't pretend unless you get the mind quiet. So it's interesting, yeah. I'm just going up and down and all these things, and then you're like, yeah. If you can just be in the peace and surrender and in the now, wow, you're in a much better, as they say, the best state. It's easier in the best state to be, is just to be the same thing. Yeah. Still comes back to the old thing, just be and get that thing to be quiet. So and that's difficult for humans because they're so used to what you taught now is feed the mind, social media, watch this, the news, that work. It's constantly feeding the mind and the ego, which is the I, I am this, I want that, I want the car. And the ego will keep you busy. I'm healing. You'll never stop healing. It's another thing we're talking about today. Someone, when you say this healing journey, this is the ego. It'll keep you healing because you're not, instead of saying I am healed, it's going to keep you chasing. You're going to be healing. It'll never come to an end, Or it's going to keep wanting this and then it's going to want something else and something else. It's like you can never satisfy the ego. Whereas the self, the true self, is just happy. It doesn't need shit. It doesn't want anything. It doesn't need anything. So when you're in that place of the mind, and when you're out of the mind completely and you get into that absolute, you're fully connected alignment and the mind is quiet, man, satisfaction, contentment, bliss is like, that's it, I'm saying. It's the best state to be. And I've tried them all now. I've experimented with it all and I'm like, no, that's better. No desire, no want, no this, no nothing, just be. Yeah. Yeah, have you? It is interesting, hey? Yes, telepathy is, I know. And your intuition, your things, yeah. You also, which is nice, because it validates you when you start realizing the things you are seeing and you're getting information, and you get confirmation down the line that it also validates in that you are smack on. And you're learning, I think it's also, you're learning to trust your higher self, your inner being. It's a different way of being. The ego, it's all about control. So it's very difficult for a human to slowly let go of complete control and completely trust. Okay. Let me just check on him. It's not too hot, sorry. I'm babysitting here, people. Hello, boo-boo. Might be too hot. I don't want him to get too hot. You're all right. Hello. Okay. It's okay. So there we are. Maybe he's just not noticing I'm not there. So, yeah, anyway, so now I've got a little teeny-weeny baby to take care of quickly. As it wouldn't survive, yeah. Yeah, it's minute. But because I've bred these things myself, and I've had many as pets, from very small. So they're very delicate, yeah. And they're very tame if you get them from such a small age. So you knew when something was wrong. When I saw this one and I knew something was, I thought, no, it was not behaving normally. I knew something wasn't up with it. It doesn't look ill. It looks weak. I noticed that it was cold and weak. It was just sitting there. But yeah, but it's one eye is slightly smaller than the other. What do you call it? It's the runt of the litter. Anyway, so it was a bit off. So I'm going to see it would have, I don't think, it survived out there. So it's now been adopted. I've done this so much in my life, though. Not something I expected at all, though. It was one of these, Anyway, he's now home. Yeah. Sweet, sweet. They make the most amazing pets. As they grow up like as your child, they don't know any better and they think you're the mother. They have no idea that they're a bird. They actually think they're a human or whatever. You know? It's amazing. Incredibly tame. It's incredible. Anyway, let's hope he's going to be okay. It's going to settle. Yeah. Anyone got any stories of their journey? Anything you've noticed coming up? Besides testing to see, you know? We will obviously, I presume, like anything else, you're going to be tested. Have you? Okay, yeah. That's interesting. Throat, so your chakra, your throat chakra, learning to speak here, says clearing going on your throat chakra, learning to speak. Sinuses, your third eye, throat chakra. Busy getting clearings, or you got to see, yeah, something you're not learning to speak your truth, or you didn't speak your truth, something's working there, yeah. The loneliness, surrender to it. When it comes up, surrender completely. Give up. Because if you think I'm lonely, you hang on to that feeling, you're like, no, want company, it's not going to go away. And you won't get, it's funny, so it's so weird, I've done it. When you completely surrender, it's like, okay, if I'm meant to get, just too bad. And I don't focus on I'm lonely, because that's not, if you say that, you will be. You know, and you just, because you've got source, your inner being. So ask your inner being and be in that, like I just mentioned, the now moment, and it'll vanish. All feeling of being lonely or anything, because that's only the ego. Yeah, I did that. I mean, I've been, you know, people say they have to go, you end up going on your own, and as part of this journey, awakening, you end up being, it's everyone, it's part of the process. You end up being isolated. So you'll find yourself alone, being, you know, alone for a reason, as you go through your, you know, healing process. 4 years, people, I've been on my own. 4 years. 19, 20, 21. Yeah, I've had about, in between that, about 6 months when I wasn't on my own. 4 years, people. 2019, 20, 21, 22. Totally on my own. Talk about isolation. So going through this process. And I had some serious shadows to work out in the beginning. Wow. Massive amount. Yeah. So I remember in the beginning, I was like, wow, you were so lonely. And then I just thought, you know what, if I'm meant to be alone, I'm meant to be. And I completely surrendered it. The minute I surrendered to it, it went completely. It was like nothing. And then I did get company for a short bit. But it's so interesting when you do that. Yeah. As long as you resist something, it will stay in your existence. You cannot move on. No matter what happens to us, we've got to completely accept it and surrender, and then it will leave your, as soon as you've learned it or accepted, it leaves and moves on. And then you will get company or something. But the minute you're wanting or resisting or complaining, it does not happen. It like stays in, it keeps it almost, you know, present. Yeah. Is it grief? Okay, yeah. It's a process. But if it hangs around too long, then it's not, then it's a pattern. Then you've got to get rid of it. It's a pattern. Or a way of being, you're used to it. As long as that grief doesn't stick around too long, yeah. If it's not abnormally long. Because then it's a pattern, yeah. And then you've got to learn that's a pattern that your soul, your ego has adopted. Maybe it's more than one life. And you've got to break that. Yeah. Because we choose our state of being, yeah. Okay, good, yeah. Yeah. We have to work it, yeah. I know. It's a lot of overcoming and determination to overcome these things, to change. That's a big part of the healing thing, huh? You've had to fight some really dark things, and especially, you know, when you first wake up, oh boy, your ego, your shadows there, your fears and your paranoia and your other things, and, you know, touch all this other nonsense you have to work through. It's a lot of stuff, wow. A lot of shit, wow. And then you maybe had physical stuff, you had all kinds of shit. Oh, wow, terrible. Amount of stuff you had to, it's a lot, actually. It's a lot, but if you noticed your inner being or your soul or your energy source guides you very gently through the process. It's very benevolent how it handles the whole thing, because it'll take you through that, and then you'll hear a bit, and then it'll gently move you through the next thing, triggers, and then, okay, now you need to see this. And if you're aware, Source is, it's so loving, it's so benevolent, because they gently move you. It's for your highest good. So they'll put you in a situation where you're going to be triggered or not happy, because they're trying to tell you, oh, listen, you need to look at that and maybe look at it differently. And if it doesn't trigger you right, you pass that one and that one is gone. The next test, you know. Whatever you need to overcome, it's going to come up for you to do it differently, if you didn't handle things well. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Wow. Yeah. That's affirmations. The one thing I must say about affirmations, they do help you in the beginning. It's not going to help you stay in that bliss state. You need to stay, once you've done it, you stay in the no mind. Just be in the moment and just be. Because if there's no mind, there's no unhappiness, there's none of this nonsense. You're not identifying with anything. Because if you start identifying with the thoughts, that's what they try and do. It's the ego. It just tries to trick you. So just ignore. Like when you're trying to meditate, you ignore the thoughts. As long as you don't give anything a reaction, you're good, yeah. Hi, Belle. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun, hey. Affirmations do help though, and that's what I say to those people. Try those what I find it's very good. Almost every human on the planet has got a problem with self-worth, self-love, self-esteem, and worthiness. So those affirmations are very good because it does reprogram the mind, the ego, which has got all that bloody nonsense. So it will get you over that self-worth issue, self-love, and you do them for 30, 40 days, it absolutely works. When you didn't have any self-love or self-worth, you feel worthy. And you don't have any issues now. You don't take nonsense. Your worthiness is recovered. But it does take reprogramming the mind. Like he says, 30, 40 days, affirmations every day. You've got to just... So those affirmations on that aspect really work when you sit and mine are about half an hour every day. I mean, mine are long, hey, people. It takes commitment because you've got to sit there. And I go on for half an hour of affirmations and appreciation. But say probably 90% of it's affirmations and 10% of it's the thank yous as well for the expansion in consciousness, for my blessings, Yeah. They work though. They really do, the affirmations. And I think everybody should do it. When you first wake up, everybody should be doing the affirmations because it restores your self-worth, that love, it affirms peace, whatever qualities you want to hold. You're keeping those resonance and frequencies anyway in your being every day when you're doing that. So it becomes a normal way of being if you're doing it every day. You see, then you'll be, where you're saying peace, you will, by saying it and holding that frequency every day, you will automatically, always be in a state of peace and whatever else. Yeah. Did they? Oh, goody. Why are you saying thank me? Didn't you know about the affirmations before, Ellie? They're amazing. They're flipping amazing, yeah. They work, and the frequencies, you feel them, hey? When you start doing them, you absolutely, when you finish that, you feel, you've activated those frequencies in you, and you feel it. You feel self-worth, you feel joy, you feel whatever you're saying, you feel it. Yeah. Oh, goody, I'm glad. I'm glad. You know what? Because every person you help, good. Well, there we are. You see, you learned something. Good, I'm glad. I do them daily. I gave up. I stopped it for a while. I did them daily. I did very well. And then I stopped doing it. And then you slip down again. Especially if you're in the mind, you see. If you're not just being in the present moment. And if you can stay in the present moment and do them and really be disciplined about that and just stay there. And train that mind so the mind is permanently there. Oh, you're going to cruise through life. No problem. Not a problem. But I think the affirmations are for us just to overcome our issues with self-worth and all that other nonsense, whatever you want to get. So I think for that is a good thing, yeah. Good. And I noticed when I stopped doing them, yeah. They are worth it. They really are. I mean, I still meditate. And then I do those. Yeah, I know, but that's also the ego, you see. That's the separate identity part that we're feeding. Remember, affirmations are just feeding, it's the ego part, the conscious mind. That's what the I am, this and that, and the program and the body is. Yeah. And the source. But your belief is massively important. What you believe, anyway. It's interesting, we're learning. It's so interesting. Someone's jeeping me there. Yeah. They help. They help get you out of the maybe in the the negative frame of mind or whatever. What's up, my sweetie? You alright? Okay. Hey. It's warm there. Sorry. I'm playing mommy here. Sorry, people. Do you want to see who I've got here? Ugh. Say hello. Look. And there we are. Say hello. Looky there. That's this is the adopted. Yeah, it's teeny weeny weeny. We adopted. We're not doing too well, hey, but we're going to be fine because we got the universe to help us. See? So this is me meditating today in one hand because you to keep them calm and comforted because it's a body heat as well and your energy and your thing. Yeah, no, well this one was it wasn't going to survive out there, shame it was not well, yeah. So you put them down your top. Sorry. Here's your baby. So you put them down for the ladies, put them between your boobs or in your shirt. You got a t-shirt, put them down there. They love it because they're near your heart. It's warm and it's closed. They like that. It keeps them calm and quiet. And that settles them for the first few days. They get used to it. And when you go anywhere, you keep them in there and they're perfectly fine. But just don't sleep with them there because you will squash them. And so you've got to put them in something when you sleep. Do not sleep with them ever because you will squash them. Yeah, well, I had to have him in my hand. I was trying to meditate and I had him down my top. And then he started waking up and he was trying to come out. So I didn't want him to fall out and hurt himself. So then I had him in my hand and I was trying to meditate with him here. And then I was talking to Source, asking them to help me with him, Yeah. Here's your puppy. So sweet. Yeah, anyway. So there we are. And I've always I've got a great affiliation for birds, dogs and horses. Wow. And whales, sea animals, but land animals, birds, big time. Horses, ooh, majorly. And dogs, yeah. Oh, shame. Yeah, did you? Okay, yeah. I know. I've been very lucky with lots of pets, and I've brought up many of these. I used to breed these, and so I've had these as pets, complete pets. People used to ask me, "How did you train them?" And you don't. If you get them from really, really young, like this, when they're really small, something's up, and you bring them up, they don't know they're a duck. They have no clue. I mean, it used to follow me to the shop. It used to come in my car, and if I left him in the car and went to the hotel, he'd get so upset, he would jump out the window and follow me into the hotel. He used to sleep under my bed. I had one that used to sleep literally under my bed. And if I got up like mommy, I was like, it's mommy. And he was quite big. He got turned into a full-grown duck. And I used to go to the loo at night. He would, and the minute I got up, no ways. And he knew. And he would stop. And he'd follow me to the toilet. And go back to bed. Then he'd get up. He'd sleep under my bed. Then, okay, fine. But if I tried to leave that room, boy, he was after me. No. Here's your pee-pee. Yeah. There we are. So there we are. So it's going to be interesting meditating now with energy. So anyway. Source loves him. Yes. The universe loves him because it's part of us. We're all part of one, aren't we? We're all connected anyway. So there we are. Yeah. So I have a grandchild. There we are. New grandchild. Yes. Anyway. So it was a bit of a panic station. In my little box here, I've got a little bed for him and the hot water bottle with the towel on top, and make a little nest in there. Yeah. Did it? Oh, lovely. Yeah. I know animals are amazing. If they grown up from small, away from their thing, they don't know if they grow up, not with their normal species, that they're even a part of that species. Yeah, amazing. I've had interesting pets in my life, goodness me. Oh, really? Sweet. Amazing, I love animals, yeah. Love them. But I'm a dog. I'm a horse person. Dog and and birds, and that's probably why I'm not a cat person, because obviously they're more predators and they tend to kill things. So no, I'm not the predator fan, really particularly, just naturally. Yeah, too sweet. Anyway, he's teeny. I mean, he's very small, Sham. So yeah, but you knew something was wrong, even compared to the other ducklings. They were busy swimming around and everything and trying to get this thing. And he just sat there and shaking, and I knew something was wrong. And the mom and the other ducks swam for left him, and I was like, this is not good. No, he wasn't gonna be okay. So I climbed down there and got him. Sure. Anyway. Yeah. We'll see. I don't know what's up with him. I can't see anything physically wrong with him. His one eye is slightly smaller than the other eye, but I can't see. There's no sign of illness. Like some of the illnesses I know that they get, I can't see that. So, anyway, that was me rushing off and getting all kinds of things today. Unexpected, additional to the family. Anyway. Yeah. People's, any other news? Anybody? Any other news? Anyone's got any news on their journey so far? What's happening? And we've got obviously energy. I don't bother anymore telling people because we've got energies coming in and going out. We've gone to the main shift, but it keeps going. Eh? But this one now has been quite a big one. So there's been a big upgrade in us. It was a big shift we went through now, but from May onwards, we've changed a lot. I say this shift has been a large shift. It's moved big things. It's definitely taken you up a notch. And I think some of these tests now are to see that we are embodying it. That's it. So we're embodying the higher self now. We're not just doing it, but we're being it. It's in action per the way. Yeah. Which is interesting, yeah. We shall see. Anybody else got anything to share? Is it okay? Yeah. Yes, tired. A lot of us. People there's some big clearing going on. Yes, there's been some serious tiredness going on. I haven't been in the last two. I've been awake for the last 2 nights actually. I've watched the moon come up. I've watched the moon rise and go over. So I haven't been to sleep early. But I was tired before. No, not so much now. Not really. Not heavily. But yes, there has been, because it's like this ebb and flow we're going through, the energies, and then we get a bit tired. It's like, so it's a lot. Think about it. The physical vessel. It's a lot to take on. Your body is recalibrating constantly. New energies going up, changing. New energies going up. So this evolution is not a small thing. On the physical scale or on the emotional, mental scale, I mean, the whole thing. Our energy shifting. It's going to affect us on all levels. Were they? Oh, lovely. I didn't see. No, they were too busy, the Air Force here, spraying and blocking out everything. But I saw the moon come up. I saw the moon the night before and last night. Beautiful. And smack into my window. So while I'm lying in bed, oh, wow, it's amazing. I'm lying there watching this view and I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is lovely. Wow. We're very, very privileged, If you realize just the awe of creation and of what everything is, like everything, all that is, and that's what they say, source, all that is. People don't really realize when they mean that, your family, of the entire energy that makes up everything, because everything's got energy in it, life, that's it. That is part of us. Because when we tend to identify with source, we tend to identify with human consciousness. That's one part of source. It's a teeny part. But everything is part of source. All the consciousness, they are a part of source. The animals are part of source. all their consciousnesses, all make up source. All that energy is joined, as I say. It's like that's the quantum entanglement, or you want to call it string theory. It's amazing. And this is how we can communicate as well. Think about it. We can heal and tap into them. You can do Reiki on animals, and you can heal them, and you can tap into animals, and they talk to their self, same as you can do with a human. We can talk to the rocks. We can talk to the air, the water. It's amazing. And when you really look at life and life itself, and you realize all the life in the universe, and this is your family, you are part of this one massive, benevolent, beautiful family out of the body. When we're in a physical bodies, we're playing our roles as human, as an ET, as a horse, as a, whatever it is. But when we're not in our bodies, we make up a mass consciousness, and it's all loving and we're all benevolent. There's no division out of the physical vessel. It's only here we identify as I'm a human, and I'm a horse, and I'm an ET, and I'm a this, and I'm a that. It's a form of separation from source, that's all. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. Yeah. Interesting. He's sleeping now. I think they like the vibration and the warmth. They're happy. Otherwise, I wrap him in the little towel. I've got a hot water bottle under the towel, and the towel folded a few times, and he's in the middle, and a little bit goes over, so he sort of like, feels like he's under, like little feathers warmth. And as I never ever put them in your bed, people, or let your children have them where they can get out of a box or something, climb out. Because what they do is go for the heat. While you're sleeping, they will snuggle up, and then when you sleep, you'll roll over and squash them. And this has happened twice that I'm aware of. And so you never put them on your bed or somewhere where they can get out. And because they will snuggle up under your back, and you will literally squash them when you're sleeping. I said, don't do that if you ever have children that get these as pets, little ones. Okay, don't let them put them in their bed or anything on the bed or at night. Yeah. Not a good idea. Put their little thing on the floor next to the bed. So if they do climb out or get out, they're not going to be squashed by you in your sleep. It's just a heads up for anybody if they give these to their children as pets or something. Yeah. Too cute, having a good old snooze, like dreaming. So let's see. Hope he's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Oh, they're just gorgeous. I love them. Absolutely adore them. But I hope he's all right. I hope I can get him to eat. We're going to see tomorrow if I can get him to eat something. He wasn't interested one bit today when I took him. That was late the afternoon. Who knows what he's eaten, beforehand the whole day. I don't know. But I couldn't get him to participate this afternoon. So tomorrow I'm going to see if I can get him to eat anything, drink, whatever. Hope so. Yeah, because I've got such a soft spot for them. Oh my gosh, I love birds. Even as a kid, I had so many birds, and everyone that found stray birds or injured birds, they'd always bring them to me. So I was nurturing birds since I was a kid. Don't know why. Just one of those things. They're lovely. They're so gentle. I love them. And free. Think about that. You can fly around. Yes, you can fly. Yeah, it is. Very cute. Teeny weeny weeny. Very small, Sham. Very small. Alright, peoples. I'm getting sleepy. I don't know what the time is. So I thought I'll just catch up with you. But I had about 2 days. A couple of us were going through some clearing that was going on. And the people noticed that they were just feeling a bit iffy. As I think I said in my video on TikTok, they were feeling iffy. And you started getting negative thoughts. Your vibration dropped because you were doing clearing. And well, you need to do some grounding. But it seems to be like that, yeah. Yeah, you too. Seems to be like this. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm sticking to it. sometimes, even that I can see there was issues going on with the brain. So if you can't meditate, try later. Skip it and try in the evening, or. So don't stress if sometimes you go through these periods, upgrades, that you won't be able to meditate or you won't be aspling for a while because they don't want you to, because they want you to be in the body or just whatever phases or shift you're going through. So just take it as it comes. Don't get concerned about anything or think anything and take it negatively in any way. Always know, everything is always going to work out. It's always for your highest and greatest good. That's it. It's not like, something's wrong or that's not work. Don't make a thing of it. Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. It's kind of like a test, eh? You see a lot of this. Yes, I noticed that. It's like the past, also in dreams. Another thing, when I've been chatting to people saying the same thing, is that they're having a lot of dreams. So you're remembering dreams or vivid dreams. So that's part also, every time that's happened, I notice it's clearing. So it comes out in your dreams. So you're dreaming a lot of so a lot of vivid dreams, all these weird dreams people are dreaming about. So this shit is coming up. It's being cleared. So there's definitely shifts and things going on the cellular structure and changes and upgrades. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's coming out in our dreams, yes. I noticed that, yeah. So yeah, we're doing some clearing going on there. And that's why sometimes you see your past is coming up and negative things, and yeah. But see if you be conscious, see if you get any of these tests, if you get tested. Okay. Because there are tests going on around there. And notice, see how you react. And it's so nice when you react on such a higher level. Then you don't get triggered and you don't, it's always more positive level. That's so nice when you realize, wow, whatever. That's such a lovely place to be. Yeah. This one seems to dream a lot. Wow. He was definitely the runt of the litter, that's for sure. Shame. Yeah, very, very much. So sweet. Yeah, shame. And you could see there was these little brothers and sisters were a little bit bigger, very active, very busy swimming and carrying on, and and even the mom left him. So I was like, yes. Yeah. When they swam off and leave you, little brothers kept coming up to him and they're trying to get him, and he was just sitting there almost like shivering. And I thought, that's strange. Why is he cold? He's not moving out the water. Or anyway, we will see, people. We'll do some healing on him. Yeah. That's a good thing about this now, because you can ask Hasav and you can ask Source for help, because now we tapped in and you can actually do healing on them. It's like you can send healing to other animals, so you can purposely do healing on him. So that's, yeah. Yes. They're going to be good, don't you worry. So there we are. I have a grandchild. Feathered one. So I don't have any in real life. I've got a feathered one now. Anyway. Yeah. Well, this is it. Everyone's mentioning they're having all of a sudden lots of dreams. Dreams are active again. There's clearing going on. Shifts and changes in your energy. That stuff is coming out. It's been cleared. Our cash and our things are changing. There's a new template. We are. Yeah. A lot of shit's coming out. Don't worry. We go through these. It's like the rubbish bins being emptied kind of thing, yeah. So as it's being emptied, sometimes you're aware of it, or it's coming into your awareness when you wake up. Ooh, what was that, and why did I? Yeah. Don't let it phase you. Stay positive, stay in your power, It's always for my highest good, everything's working out for me, and know that. I mean, it's only the ego that'll make you fear, because it's benevolent. This is the real you. When the body stops working, and you go home for a bit temporarily, that's the real you. This is the energy inside you that's going to take care of you. That is the real you. So it really has your best interest at heart, because it's the eternal part. It's not this temporary body that, you know, this ego that's telling you, no, 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 I'm this body and I'm, you know, yeah, whatever. The one that's all with the fear and the paranoia, that's the ego, that's the I. Yeah, that's the thing that thinks it's a, you know, that's the mind, and the one that's always thinking and doubting and questioning and, yeah, anyway. Yeah. You're going to say good night? There's my daughter, I think. Yeah. So I'm going to say good night, people. Sorry. Oh. Maybe I'll get some sleep tonight. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be too noisy. He's got a water bottle. Yes. And it's quite warm. I've made a nice little spot, a nice little bed for him. So I think he's going to sleep quite well. He should be good. Good. Hi from New Zealand. Hi. Hi, Sarah. Sarah. Okay, nice. All right, lovely people. I'm going to love you and leave you. And I'll catch up again soon. Okay. Yeah, good night. Catch up soon. We'll catch up and you can share some stories and tell me about any, you know, your progress and how your progress is going, whatever. But I haven't, yeah, besides these things are coming up now. So just heads up, just in case they do for you if you haven't got there yet. Then once you've got through all this and you've got up there, you're going to be now tested in the, to see now if, because it's easy, you know, if you're going to hold your ground in your power, I am, you know. A deliberate creator and whatever, all these things. Okay, guys. Good morning or good evening or good night, wherever you are. Bye.